J Kraken 2, greetings to you. How are you today? Francie Delva, greetings to you. How are you today? What made y'all jump on here today? You just saw me and I look interesting because I've never seen these names before. Bamba, Sec, greetings to you. Faze, Yuri, greetings to you. Stephanie, 22K, Ashe, I see you. Greetings to you. I wanted to get on here and surprise people. I have a surprise for you. Hector, B75, greetings to you. This is how you send love, you know? This is how you anchor vibrations. When you call people names, it matters. Even if it's just the handle that you use here, that shit motherfucking matters. That somebody is saying greetings to you. I celebrate you. I don't have to know you to celebrate you. It's a good feeling. I see you. Oh, I can't say that one. AKHTR Saeed 26. Akhtar's Saeed 26. Is that it? That's interesting. I love interesting people. Regular people bore me. I get so bored with regular people. Lucky C 205, greetings to you. I'm gonna give y'all a minute to come in here. Because I can guarantee you gonna hear me say something and you gonna feel something that you never felt before. That's a motherfucking guarantee. If you're judgmental, this might not be the place for you. Because I am a goddess of liberation. I do not hold people hostage into belief systems. I activate people to have new thoughts. Authentic thoughts, right? Yeah. Hold on. Alright. Looks like we can get started. I'm going to put my phone on Do Not Disturb just for y'all. Put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I don't usually do this, but it just feels right. So I don't follow rules. I follow my own rules. I create my own rules, and I do what feels right for me. That's how I live. That's how everybody should live. But you know, sometimes we take that shit to the extreme. So I'm going to share my presence with you. Thank you for being here. How many people in here now? We got a few people in here. Kayem_USA, greetings to you. Who else we got? Let's see. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Okay. So I really can't hold this in because I know y'all like who is this? What is she on here for? Okay, so I'm Camson the Oracle, in case you do not know. And I am someone who has been predicting what's going to happen in the world since 2006 publicly. I have uploaded every single dream, vision, and astral projection. Also, remote viewings are available, and I upload those as well. I started getting in a little trouble. My remote viewing was much more accurate than I thought that it was. So I shifted. So a lot of the things that are not on YouTube are now on the Patreon because I had no idea that my remote viewing was going to piss some people off, and it did. So I like to delve into the areas that a lot of people are afraid to delve into. That's my thing. I like to play in the dark. That's my thing. I like to go deep into the subconscious mind to see what is really the issue. Why do we self-sabotage ourselves? Why are we so fucking addicted to toxic relationships? I mean, come on now. I was dealing with a toxic ass nigga for 10 whole years. Couldn't let him go. Couldn't figure out why. I wasn't happy, you know. So I delved deep into this, and I contracted an infection, a staph infection. It's actually called MRSA. It's one of the worst staph infections for a person to have, and most people that contract these infections die. Like really most people, no matter what health condition they were in prior to. So in 2005, I flatlined completely. I knew I was going to die, gave them a heads up. Hey, I'm going to die. for me to feel comfortable with this surgery, I had organ failure. I was like, I need the resuscitation cart to be close to me so that I can see it, because I'm going to die, but I think I want to stay here, so I want you to make sure you resuscitate me, type of situation. True shit, can't make this shit up. That's how it went. So after I died and I came back, I went to hell, and it was I learned so much in hell. I appreciate hell. But there were 9 dimensions in hell, and in those 9 dimensions in hell, there were TikTok telling me to do some stuff I don't know how to do, so I'm just going to ignore that so I can keep channeling this information to you. So when I went to hell, I realized that hell actually has 9 dimensions. It doesn't just have one. Hell has 9 dimensions. And as I'm going through each dimension and just being explorative, I realized what hell really was. It's not so much so a location. It is a frequency that creates a quantum field around the person. And so each person in hell had their own experience. Some of the things that they were experiencing were things like when they did not show up for themselves, and all of a sudden now you're tormented by the fact that you had dreams and goals and things you wanted to do, but you did not do them because you felt like people were not going to support you, or maybe people were not going to like what you were doing because it's something that's outside the box, or it's something that your family perceives to be as wrong, bad, evil, sinful, wicked, confusing, or stupid. And so these people were being tormented by the dreams that they didn't chase. And I remember that really had a profound effect on me. And, so after that experience, that whole video is on YouTube, by the way. But after that whole experience, I realized that we the reason we are here on this planet, for those of us who have went through a lot of things like that, basically is hell. To have trauma, childhood trauma, those life experience, that shit was hell. But I wanted to know why. Like, why? Everything in the world has a benefit, right? Everything in the world has a benefit. Especially the negative, painful, uncomfortable experiences in life. That's what made you who you are. It wasn't the good times that made you who you are. It was the hard times that made you resilient. It was the hard times that caused you to see that it's some people in my life that's not good for me. I need to let them go. It was the hard times where you were able to isolate and see who is really going to be there for me when I really need them and who is not. That's beautiful. It don't feel good when it's happening, but it's beautiful because you're learning how to create your heaven on earth by experiencing hell on earth. It's beautiful. So, I was someone who, I've always been a high achiever, and even though I was born with a rare blood disease that is considered to be a terminal illness, and I was told that I wouldn't live past the age of 13, that actually made me want to live every day like it was my last since I was a teenager. So this has always been who I was. And I hear people say I'm a mindset coach, and I was like, oh, that's a thing? And I'm like, this is what I've been doing my whole life. This is how I survived so many experiences that I had laying on my deathbed. And there are many people who can validate this. So through all of that, my goal is to illuminate people to how powerful you really fucking are. And how all of that shit that you went through and it felt like the most horrible shit to experience in the world, that is the initiation for you to get your master's degree in self-mastery. Bring that back for a fourth. When you go through these things, that is an initiation for you to receive your master's at self-mastery. And this allows you to go higher in degrees of consciousness and wisdom in life. It don't matter how old you are chronologically. It has nothing to do with that. But if you are able to take your negative experiences and find something to be grateful for in those experiences, you then become a self-master. You become someone who's so powerful, you can go from the bottom to the top, and people are like, whoa, wait a minute, how you come up like that? What did you do? And you just like, I found gratitude for the shit that I went through. And they like, that's all you had to do? And you was like, that's it. I know this shit is new. It's a whole new way of thinking, but that's what the fuck we do. do. That's what we're here for. I'm so sick with this shit. Every day I feel like I got the flu. I just keep flowing and growing. All this shit that I'm going through is making me better so I can show up for you, because I show up for me, and I always keep it true. Real shit. So that's how it do. And I still have days that I'm feeling blue. I have days that I'm so depressed I can't even get out of the bed if I keep it 100, 1,000 wild with you. That's what it is. And I realize, like, I am the embodiment of this thing. Like, this is a thing. Like, people pay people for this. So after that, I died again. Still didn't get it. I was still holding on to religion. Religion for me was the only thing that people had ever told me was a solution to my problems. After I wasn't healed by Jesus, and after I committed my life and did everything, I was celibate for 8 years. Celibate for 8 years. That's how disciplined and committed I was to every single thing that I did. So when I became a Muslim, I was committed. When I became a Hebrew Israelite, I was committed. And I documented this and recorded because I wanted people to see this. I want people to see that you don't have to be limited by whatever your conditioning is. It doesn't have to limit you. Can't nobody stop you when you realize ain't nobody against you but you. Back, forth and forth. Let me do it again. Can't nobody stop you until you realize the only enemy is you. So once you realize that you are unique and special, you also recognize that there is no motherfucking competition. And I'm not being arrogant about this. This is confidence. Because when I'm being me, there is no competition because that space is already taken. And the room in the world begins to expand just for you to exist, because you realize how beautiful you are in your uniqueness. So I wanted to jump on here and just share a little bit. I really didn't know where this was going. I have so much that I'm doing. I teach a NUUMS mystery school. I have a program going on where you can camp out with me for 10 days online and learn so many of these things and balance out your chakras. I got so much going on. My coaches keep telling me, Campson, you're doing too much. You got too many programs going at one time. And I'm like, I know, but it's so much inside of me that I know can help people, because people are suffering. And people are, it don't matter how much money you're making. It don't matter what type of relationship you have. None of that. People are suffering because we are being awakened and we're having to face our demons. We're having to see our shit. We're having to be honest about our conditioning. So whether that be you are highly narcissistic, maybe you are a people pleaser, maybe you have a wounded inner child where you fear abandonment. So you are afraid to get into committed relationships. You could be afraid of rejection, so you're afraid of intimacy. You want it. And the thing that I see is everybody want love, but most people are afraid to do what it takes to receive that love. So if you are the kind of person where giving is your thing, and then people try to give things to you, but because you have a difficult time trusting people, you don't allow people to help you, well, you're going to suffer because you're not being open and receptive. You're not open to receive. So you're meditating. If you are someone that still prays, you're praying about it. If you're someone who uses crystals, you have your crystals program and ready to go. If you're someone that taps into the full moon energy of sun gaze, like you're doing it your deep breaths, you're doing it, everything that you find, you try it, but it seems like I'm not getting out of this space that I'm in. What is going on? Why can't I not change this? Every day is like the same fucking rerun of yesterday. And to get out of that is to be able to break through the 3D matrix. And so, I have lived this. I didn't go to school for this. I had to live this. Earth is a school. That's why we live in this universe. It's a university. And Earth is the school. It's the location. But what you experience in your life is the class. And based on how you test in that class determines the next class and the next level and the next experience. So if you feel like the shit that be happening in your life is coming to break you, it's going to be really difficult for you to stop the reruns from yesterday. Every day should be a new day. Every day should feel like a new day. Every day find something to challenge yourself with, even if it's small. For those of us who deal with depression, sometimes the best way for you to be a better you is to commit to just getting up and taking a shower. And being like, today, if I could just get myself up to take a shower, I feel like I have accomplished something, and that's success for you. But we get online and stuff, and we see other people, and they have these amazing lives and amazing vacations, and they're showing like how much money they make, and it can make you feel worse about where you are. But society has been set up for us to only broadcast the beautiful parts of our life. The downside of that is, for people who are open and looking for inspiration, you end up feeling desperation because you like, that's what I want. How can I get there? That's what I need in my life. I don't know what to do to get there. And you end up in this cycle where you just scrolling and scrolling, and it seems like everything that you're attracting in your timeline is reaffirming how fucked up of a person you are and how much you are in lack, right? And, so I reverse engineer these things. I go into the quantum and metaphysics of these things. I go into the energetics of these things to break it down and see where the issue is. And then I troubleshoot it, I practice it, and then I share it with y'all. So that's just a little bit about my alchemical practice and what I do. And I share this in everything that I do. So with that being said, Ashe to everybody here. Ashe just means power, right? One love to everybody here. Big Moni, I see you. Ashe. Hillbilly. What's up, Hillbilly? I'm a little bit of the hillbilly too. I grew up in Tennessee. You feel me? So down south, I got you. I'm assuming that's what that means, but Ashe to you. So thank you. So listen, this is not something I usually do, but I'm going to do this, as I said, because I felt called by the collective to do this. So here we go. Now, first thing I want to say to you is that there is a teacher by the name of Bobby Hemmitt. And when I was coming into figuring out who I really was, Bobby Hemmitt was one of the people that confirmed a lot of my visions and dreams and lucid experiences that I was having when I would astral travel. And I was like, okay, so I'm really tapping into information that could be effective in transformation. Cool. So me and Bobby Hemmitt met up on the astral realm. I was like, look, Bobby, I need some books. Like, I know you got a long book list and a lot of them are not being published anymore. I need some books. And about 2 or 3 nights later, I had a dream that a man in a yellow suit, fresh as shit, like from top to bottom, you know what I'm saying? And he had a real pimp vibe about him. And he had the walk and he had the swag. And it was just so, it kind of blew me away. And I was stunned. And I'm just like, yo, like, who are you? And he's like, I came to bring you your books. And I was like, okay. He said, Bobby told me that you asked for some books. I said, I did. And so he was like, here you go. So it was a huge bookshelf full of books, and I'm going through the books one by one, and I'm flipping. I'm like, yes, I've been looking for this book for 3 years. Yes, just each book. So after that, I woke up, and maybe within 2 to 6 hours of me writing it down, and I script my life. I write my own verses for my life, right? That's why we call our tribe the new verse, right? It's the new earth, new verse, doing shit with new worth. So I wrote it down and I was like, I'm going to attract this to me in the physical realm. I have access in the astral. That means that I have access in the physical too. So I stayed in alignment. I didn't let any doubts or anything come in and shift me out of alignment. Within 2 to 6 hours of me writing that down, I received a message from somebody I don't know, still don't know who this person is. And they was like, here's the media library with the Bobby Hemmitt books. Just mind blown. I was like, beautiful. And then my spirit guides and I divine self, that's your higher self, was like, you shouldn't be mind blown by this. And I was like, this shit mind blowing. This is amazing. And they were just like, yeah, but you want to get used to being able to create your own reality. And you do that by not being shocked, not being like, oh, wow, I can't believe this just happened to me. What are you programming when you say that? What are you putting in the atmosphere when you say, I can't believe when something good, when something great, and you're like, I can't believe this. No, begin to say, I believe this shit. Matter of fact, I know I was worthy of this. right? So they began teaching me how to shift my language and shift my words. Spelling is how we create spells with what we say, and not just what you say, but what you say inside of here. So the internal dialogue ultimately creates your reality, and it may not happen quickly, but you can effortlessly call things into your reality. It don't have to take so much work and be difficult. So everything that I teach and do is an extension of that. I don't want to waste nobody's time, and I don't want people to have shit not go help them, because I really do fucking care. Sometimes I care more for other people than for myself, which is my shadow aspect that I am now integrating with that part of me. But being like that allowed me to be an extraordinary teacher and student to life at all times. I have not arrived. I'm still meeting myself. I'm still meeting parts of myself that I had to hide because it wasn't safe for her to live in my life fully. So I'm going to share with you some of the information that I received when I got these books. All right. So some of that information that I'm about to share with you comes from the Funktionary. Okay. And this book is written by Dr. Blynd. Okay. And this is the University of Chocolate City. All right. And I want to share to you one of the definitions in there. And this was one of the things I intentionally manifested. Dr. Blynd is actually going to be coming to the new NAGA SAGA. It's a metaphysical meetup that we're having on October 22nd. And he's coming, and he has some new things. So speaking of language, language is one of the most important things in the world in shifting your reality. All right. And the English language was used to trap us on the prison planet. So one of the simplest ways is to begin working with your language. So check this out. I want to share with you a couple of the definitions that he has in here. And there's a definition called malchemy. So it's alchemy, which is the ability to change lead to gold, right? Base metal to gold. To be able to take the shit in your life that was lead, heavy, you know what I'm saying, toxic, and turn it into something beautiful like gold, which is healing. Malchemy. The nefarious or diabolical use of metaphysical and occult knowledge by psychopaths for effectuating exploitation, vengeance, greed, control, oppression, cognitive disorientation, or profit at the intended victim's expense, to their detriment or demise. Intangible, monetized debt is an invisible, malchemical, necronomic incantation that is being perpetrated on the dwellers upon the prison planet called Earth. We have been cordoned off into arbitrary nation states and mentally colonized into divide and conquer within a majority, fooled minority, ruled life equation, while being forced to use the very thing we least suspect is the parasite that is sucking the life force from us. Tainted money, phantom wealth, and ghost dollars. Everything that you see ain't real. Some of the wealth that people are showing you is phantom wealth. And a large amount of people within these communities have been possessed with entity attachments that is altering their message in a way that may not be beneficial for the people receiving the message. And I'm not putting anybody down, but I'm calling it just like I see it. Monetized debt is only one, but it's one of the most universally effective malchemical conjurations of the psychopathic elite who run world affairs with or without your knowledge, without your tacit consent. And when you need it to live and cannot live without it, how do you go about eliminating it? Think of oxygen. It is vital. But if it is tainted and slowly killing you from its very use through the respiratory processes, what do you do to eradicate it or dispel it without eliminating yourself in the process? So that's what's happening. It took me 2 months to share this message because I had to sit on it, observe, and make sure. Accountability is everything for me. Responsibility is everything for me. So what has happened is when we began to awaken and we began to leave church and get more into our spiritual practices and finding what works for you, whatever works for you. I tell people who practice religion, if it's working for you, go for it. I have no judgment towards anybody for anything. And once you have TKO'd the ego, total nap out for the ego, you can be like that. And you can be like, I ain't got judgment on nothing. And just be in a neutral space about shit. You still discern and you peep game, but you're in a neutral space about it. And so what's happening is they did this huge spell casting with the Commonwealth Games and with the Olympics, and they called in the demons of Goetia. And because so many of us either don't know what it is, know what it is and we're afraid of it, or we are curious about it but we're afraid of what's going to happen. They know that. This is what these algorithms are for, to study us, to study what we're tapping into, right? To listen to the conversations and see what we're ready for. So I saw this when I remote viewed, that there were major walk-ins taking place, and some of those entities walking in were coming in to actually change the message to something that's toxic and not effective. And it will actually make you feel more depressed. And some people even feel suicidal after interacting with different teachers, speakers, and people who are teaching alchemical things to transform, motivational mindsets, all of these things. So when the summons of the 72 nations occurred during the Lioness Gate portal on August 8th, 2022, I saw these walk-ins coming in, and sometimes when I'm out in public, I can see these entities in people's aura. I can also see the holes in their aura, right? So no matter what you're doing, if you have entity attachments and you have an etheric cord connected to whoever you've been listening to the most, and if it's something going on in the background you don't know about, it impacts your life. And it impacts your life from a subconscious realm. So the 72 demons of Goetia, they don't have to be spooky and scary. I simplify these things. These are just different forces, different aspects. So when a woman is feeling empowered and liberated, right, in her sensuality and sexuality, we could use Lilith, which is one of the demonic, they say, but she's a goddess. She's a goddess of sensuality, of liberation. And she was Adam's in mythology. She was Adam's first wife. And she wanted to ride him. She didn't want to have sex, just boring sex. She didn't want to have to lay up under him. I don't even know what that's called. What is that called? It's a name for that. I don't even know the name of that sexual position. But anyway, that's not what she wanted to do. And because she had her own mind and she wanted to follow what felt right for her, Adam didn't want her no more. So she was cast out of the Garden of Eden, and now they say that she have sex with men in their sleep and take their semen to create demon babies, right? So when you look at everything, you can see that within all of the lies, there's a little bit of truth sprinkled in there too. These are forces and aspects. That's an energetic frequency that feminine energy can get into, where you're liberated and your sexuality belongs to you and no one else. That's beautiful. But we've been programmed to see the things that are liberating as things that will get you in a trap and get you in trouble. You see? No devil is going to ever show itself to you as a devil. Nothing dark is ever going to show itself to you as something dark. So when I hear people on this love and light thing, that actually opened us up to have these entity attachments. You can't focus on love and light. That's not life. It's not reality. Reality is a mixture of so many things. So when I started working with this new syntax, with these definitions and these new languages, it helped me enormously to be able to believe in myself more, and to be able to see that the direction I'm going in is actually what I agreed to. Now I'm going to read you one more thing about the religious beliefs. And this is not to, if you are religious in any way and it's working for you, like, keep doing that. That's your path, right? But for those of us who are like, it's not working for me, I want to share this definition with you. And it is a very long definition, but I'm going to only read some of this. The rest of this we will be sharing at the new NAGA SAGA conference here in Memphis, Tennessee. And we're going to be right on the Mississippi River, right by the pyramid. It's going to be really beautiful. And we'll be able to connect with some ancient healing energies of ancient Kemet, Egypt as well. So, yeah. So religious belief. It's a controlled substance of things imagined and hoped for as an ideality, but never seen. Thus living a changed life, being burped and pampered, but never truly weaned. A hint or a clue about something that essentially and ultimately is a mystery beyond the grasp of human thought. Most of our religious beliefs, irrespective of the religion involved, are simply guesses based on that realm. To correctly interpret the coded messages within the Bible and other revealed books, one must have access to not only the literal interpretations of spiritual insights, distort or mislead those who operate or interpret solely from a literal interpretations and passes for our humane existence. It traps us in a physical realm of consciousness. Obsessions with truth and law bring about abuses of truth and law. Religions are fact missing, but sometimes truth based. God can be the moon, but God can be the sun. God is an abstract term or concept that can be used for religious or spiritual purposes only. A religious belief is only a finger pointing to eyes without it. Any religious belief, regardless of the religion or the actual belief, is not and cannot be a statement to determine your reality. All right? So he's basically expressing that in religion being created, just think about this, right? It tells you in religion that you are to obey the laws of your land. Well, the laws of the land now have caused people to have to choose to walk away from their jobs because they did not want experimental things injected into their bodies. Right? Well, the religious belief says that you should obey the laws of the land. So if you really believe that, then you must also do whatever the government is telling you to do. I have a difficult time seeing liberation in that. And a lot of people who felt like they had no choice or maybe didn't and wanted to keep their jobs, they're now dealing with the impact of the toxic effects of taking it into their bodies. They're experiencing hell on earth. Now, I have a video footage of over 100 young people, mostly dying right in the middle of simple things like taking a walk, playing basketball, soccer, football. And even though so many of us say that's so terrible that that's happening to people, but if you go back to the books, religions, they obeyed the laws of the land, and that's what they did. And now they're having a hellish experience on the earth plane, where you have free will to create heaven or hell in your life. And that's just one concept. So another thing that stood out was a lot of us seek love in the wrong places. For me, for God to love me, I had to be righteous. And for me to be righteous, I had to feel very bad about doing anything that God said was wrong. And in order for me to do that, I had to really be deep into how bad I feel to make sure that me repenting for that sin would be accepted as a fervent prayer. Well, doing this over and over and over again, it decreased my own self-worth and value. And I began to feel like if my standard of who I am is not good enough for God to accept me unconditionally, where I have to pay him and pay tithes and offering and repent, and I have to seep down and almost into depression of feeling so bad because I didn't want to repent for something and I didn't really feel bad about it. So I practiced feeling bad about things so much to the point where I don't know how to feel good. I don't know how to feel great about anything, about myself. Living up to God's standards, I wasn't able to do it. So what man or woman would want to accept me and be with me, and they're imperfect, but God is perfect, and I couldn't even live up to his standards. And I became so depressed, I became suicidal. And I had a level of anxiety to where I was having panic attacks at any moment in time. And I went to so many therapists and counselors, and I couldn't really get a grasp of it. So, I know that talking about these things liberate other people, because you're also maybe in a space of figuring out, why do I feel so bad? And why do I look for love in the wrong places? And why am I so attached to people who demand more energy from me than they give back to me? Like, what is that? What's going on? And these are some of the things that led me to these realizations. It's deeper than this. There's no way possible that I could give you all that I'm going to give you. But just know that it's not many people who have 15, 20 years of visions that actually were accurate and came true. And it's an honor to be one of those people. But I go against the grain. I'm not popular because I don't support anything that's actually going to enslave people's consciousness. I don't support anything that's going to not allow you to feel like your best self. So whatever it is that you think that you need to gain or have to feel better about you, I'm telling you, you don't have to have any of that shit, and you don't have to change nothing. If it's something in your life you've been trying to change and it seems like it's not changing, the best thing that you can do is to say, you know what? I keep fucking up in life. I can't figure out how to quit fucking up in life. So if I can't figure out how to quit fucking up in life, I'm just going to change how I feel about the fact that I be fucking up in life. I be procrastinating. I be making bad decisions. I be overly critical. I be hard on myself. I don't speak my truth. I allow people to treat me however they want to treat me in the name of you're my family, right? It would be wrong for me to not communicate with you. It would be wrong for me to not come to the family gathering. And we have all of these expectations placed on us, and many of them come from these religious texts. And the irony of it all is it leaves you depleted, especially if you are an empath, especially if you are a starseed, especially if you are a highly sensitive person, someone who does have childhood trauma and you're aware of it and you're working through it, someone who's experienced narcissistic abuse, domestic abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, all of these things. But I get deeper into the spiritual realm of the unseen realm, outside of the light spectrum of what we can see, and I tell you what's going on that level as well. So with the new NAGA Saga conference, that's where we're going to go in deep into some of these things. I haven't even heard the new stuff that Dr. Blynd has. I cannot wait to hear it. We're also going to be giving out autographed copies of the Funktionary. And once you buy your ticket, your name is automatically going to be put into the hat. and we're going to pull names for you to win an autographed copy of the Funktionary. This book is not being published anywhere. You will not find this anywhere else. So that's what we're going to do, because we want to give honor to those who came before us, creating a new level of consciousness on this planet. And he has some really amazing stories that he has shared with us about Prince, the artist, even George Clinton, you know. So it's powerful when you connect with different levels of consciousness. You then become connected with different levels of experiences in people. So he's going to be sharing some of that. And we're also going to be releasing Chocolate City's merch. We got Chocolate City merch, y'all. And the shield on that merch, my partner sat down himself and redesigned Dr. Blynd's merch. And when he showed it to me, it blew me away. It was so amazing. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you've been having relationship issues within your own self, because it starts here first, right? And I know it's so many teachers telling you so many different ways that you can get the life that you want. But I tried most of all of it. And after I tried all, everything that I've had access to, when I say all, I mean, I don't judge anything. So it don't matter if it's Hinduism, it don't matter if it's working with the Orishas, it don't matter if it's working with ancient Kemet, Egypt, it don't matter if it's working with Native American deities, it could be personal development, breathing exercises, kundalini practices, yoga, like I do it all. And what I do is I document what's the most effective. I share with my clients. I have done over 2,000 spiritual consultations for people. I just now opened that back up because it takes a lot of my energy. I literally merge with your I divine self to communicate the messages to you through the higher aspect of you. So those are opened up too on the site. But in the new NAGA saga, I'm unleashing. Like, I'm unleashing everything. So for those of you who want the smoke and don't want the smoke screen no more, like, you might want to check that out. If you go to newverselive.com, you'll be able to see everything happening there. And that's just a couple of freebies, because the first 10 people, the next 10 people who buy their ticket, we got new merch for you already ready to go. So this how we doing it, big pyramid shit. That basically means, like, we are the new gods awakening. These aspects are within us. But when you connect with certain energies, that's when it awakens and activates in you. It's lying dormant. It's not junk DNA. It was just consecrated and set aside for the right time for it to be able to come out and help us to create a field of consciousness around us where we're not feeling helpless and hopeless, and we see, like, I can do this. I got this, right? So that's that. Some other surprises, like breaking down the intergalactic warfare and what happened between Sirius and the Draconians. Like, why do it seem like they constantly at odds with each other on the planet? So if you're a starseed and you're interested in learning galactic history, not just the history on the planet, but the galactic history, right? I'm going to be delving into that as well. And I have discovered the main reason why in the Black and brown community, there's a level of hatred that's subconscious that we have from being heartbroken, from not having healthy relationships with our fathers or our mothers, all of that. Like, I have reverse engineered this shit all the way down to the synapses in your brain, the neural networks, how to shift out of fight or flight. And it just allows your relationships to be more nurturing for your soul, for you to be your best self. And I'm just going to keep it real with you. If you have dreams and goals and it's something that maybe has never been done in your bloodline, you're going to walk that path alone. And that's okay. You don't have to have relatives support you in your dreams. That's yours. That's for you, right? And it's no judgment. Everybody is here to have their own experience. The mark of a truly spiritual person is the person who may know all of these things, but don't judge nobody. That is the true mark of someone who has reached a higher level of consciousness. So yes, that was just a little bit. I could do this shit for 2 days straight, and I still wouldn't even be able to get through everything that I have written to present to y'all for the new NAGA saga. But that's what it's about. And in case you're wondering about the word NAGA, NAGA means wisdom. And because we are some of the first generations to be able to recognize the generational patterns and conditionings that we may call curses, we're like in a space of, I want to do something that's going to help. I don't want to re-traumatize, right? I don't want to perpetuate the shit that made me feel broken inside and made me feel like I wasn't good enough to deserve more, right? And that's powerful. So yes, there is a phase where you're going to have a dark night of the soul and spiritual awakening. There's a phase where you're going to feel like the people you grew up with maybe no longer resonate. That's beautiful. That's called transformation. That's called evolution. That's called growth. Lauryn Hill talked about how she's just now meeting her own self, and she had to reintroduce herself to people who have known her. I reintroduce myself often. And there's this subconscious thing where we feel like people got to stay the same, and if they don't, they switching up, and there's something wrong with that. That can cause you not to even try to be different, not to even embrace who you are and your uniqueness. And as long as you are hiding your authentic self, you are anchoring these hellish experiences happen on the planet. One last thing is that the mind is a quantum computer. It is not meant to be a master. It is only meant to be your server. Okay? A lot of us got that backwards. You are not your thoughts. And I know that people have heard, as a man thinketh, so is he. No, you are not your thoughts. Some of the thoughts that you have are just thoughts that you're having because that's what's traveling through the ethers within this 5G consciousness. Some of the thoughts that you are having are archons, which is this parasitic energy outside of the spectrum of what we can see. And when it attaches to us, we start having really dark, negative thoughts that's not beneficial and toxic. That's not you. So you realize I can separate my beingness from my thoughts and my mind. I'm not that. You're not that. You probably hadn't even really met who you really are in your higher potential, right? So this is what we're going to be doing. We're also going to perform one of our new songs at the new NAGA Saga. Like I said, the giveaway. What else? Like, it's a fucking experience, right? And you're going to leave transformed. If you're ready to transform and you're ready to see what you can really do when you are within a group of people who are like-minded and not making you feel bad because you're different, right? Or because you want better, right? So we're going to get into that. And I know a lot of people who are empaths right now are feeling exhausted and tired. The 5G does affect us, but there are ways that we can transcend that as well. There are ways we can transcend the transmissions to keeping us in a lower vibrational state. Because if we collectively vibrate higher, do you really think the world is not going to change? So your quantum mind, the words that you speak, the actions that you take, is the projector. And the projector pushes out whatever is in here. And if you don't know how to align your mind with your heart so that your mind becomes your servant and not your master, what happens is by default, we're actually holding toxic energy in our own realm, in our own reality. And as each individual focuses on the catastrophic, chaotic, painful things in life, it allows the smaller amount of people who run the world to do what they do. We are actually the support system for some of the things that have led to some of the worst genocidal experiences that this planet has ever seen. And that's a lot. So to be responsible, to be accountable, to be a truly evolved version of you, it's going to require new tools, new groups of people, new ways of thinking, new practices. And yeah, you'll be able to do it. But all this shame and shit, mental health stuff and shame, like, I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm not letting nobody make me feel shame about nothing, because that shit made me who I am, and I am forever grateful. I'm grateful for each time I tried to commit suicide and it didn't work. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful for every time that I had to endure having seizures and organ failure, and to be able to sit here now and do this. I'm so fucking grateful. And that amount of gratitude, that's gangster as fuck. When you got gangster gratitude, that means you could be homeless and sleeping in your car and be like, I got gratitude. And a week later, you making $1 million. It really can happen like that. So I went from being homeless to having the house of my dreams. I have a farm that I always wanted to be able to have my own farm and sustain my own food. Like, not only did I live longer than what they said, but I have accomplished things. And because I was so used to dimming my light, I really wasn't talking about what I accomplished. And because my experience is with people being envious, jealous, or just not liking me, and that's okay, but I took it internally and thought that it meant that I was not a worthy, valuable person. Now that I've worked on those mindsets, I manifest effortlessly, and so can you. And that's exactly what I'm going to help y'all do. So I'm not trying to tell you don't trust the people you've been listening to. All I'm saying is think about that alchemical definition that I read to you and listen to your intuition. Everybody ain't who they was. Whoever they was 6 months ago, that's not who they was now. And a lot of people don't know. Okay? So who's invite to join live? Who is this? What is this? What's going on? I'm finna put you on here. But I'm finna put you on here. What's up? Who is this?
Assalamu alaikum.
Greetings to you. I never accept people when I do these because sometimes we're speaking different languages and I don't know what's going on. But greetings to you. So before I get off of here, I am going to pull one card. And I really don't like doing tarot readings. Now I don't even know how to undo it. My bad. Well, you on here with me. I guess you just go be on here with me, listen, because I don't know how to do this. And I am not ashamed that I don't know how to work TikTok. But I know how to work this goddamn spiritual realm. That's a fact. All right, I'm gonna pull one card for you because it was just on my heart to do that. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I don't even know how to take you off. I'm gonna have to get a moderator. If anybody on here and you vibing with me, I'm not gonna do this often, but when I do, if y'all could get on here and help me, that would be beautiful. Let's see. I don't know how to do that. See? I did it. Okay. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna pull a card for y'all. I do not rely on my cards to direct my life. I rely on my own intuition, aligning my heart and my mind to direct my life. But these are extraordinarily useful, especially if you're just now trying to figure out what it is that you can do different to get the outcome in life that you desire. Because a lot of times, for those of us who smart asses, I'm a smart ass. I always thought I knew everything and could nobody tell me nothing. So the cards is just a way for me to bypass my conscious mind that thinks she know everything, so that my subconscious mind can come forward through these cards. So let's see. For the collective of everybody here, you jumped out just like that. Okay. Queen Nandi. Queen Nandi. Look at that beautiful picture. Queen Nandi. Y'all see this? Look at that beautiful picture. What is she doing? She's holding a baby. But who is that baby? That baby is you. You are rebirthing yourself. You are rebirthing yourself. You are healing some of the things that you experienced as a child. And guess what? Everything that you need is inside of you, and it's coming from your intuition. It's 222. Ashe, gratitude. Intuition. The number 2 means things are established. 222. Ashe. So 222 in 2022. Anyway, don't get me started on numerology. So intuition. Trust your intuition. Trust your intuition. The divine feminine energy is holding you. She's walking you through this. You ain't walking by yourself. I know it might feel like it, but trust your intuition. Trust your intuition, baby. I see you, Miss Michigan 04, drove you to tears. Ashe, that means you are cleansing some shit, baby. Let that salt water flow. Don't hold them tears back. Let that salt water flow. That's your Florida water, baby. Our body create Florida water. That's how beautiful we are. You hear me? I used to not cry. I grew up in the hood, and so it's like I had to be hard all the time, and I used to try to hold my tears back. I cry whenever I want to. I'd be crying online. And I'd be like, damn, y'all got a gangster crying. I'd be pulling them cards, and they just hit me in a way, and I'd be like, damn, y'all got a gangster crying. But trust your intuition. Your intuition is speaking to you. It's in. It's not without. It's not out tuition. It's intuition. It's in you. You are being held. You are being held. And some of us just now figured out that our wounded inner child is still inside of us. That child that got bullied, that child that wasn't understood is still inside of us, right? Trust your intuition. For those of you who maybe are working corporate jobs or making a lot of money or real estate or whatever you're doing, like even the more tap into your intuition. The higher you go in socioeconomic levels, the more you really should tap into your intuition, because everything in this world is not logical. And the divine feminine energy is shifting from patriarchy to a more matrilineal energy. So you want to trust the feminine aspect of you, which is your intuition. That's the right hemisphere of your brain. That's the left side of your body. So if the left side of your body starts to communicate pain or anything like that, so you trust your intuition and ask your body, what is it that you need? Talk to yourself inside of yourself the way that you would talk to a baby, because that part of you is still in you. And when you don't nurture that part of you, that's when your shadow aspects and the self-sabotage and a lot of the subconscious things that we do, it just starts to come out. And it's like you actually in a beautiful place, but you really can't even experience the beauty of where you are because you feel like you're not enough and you need to be somewhere else. And I'm here to tell you, you ain't got to change shit. Don't try to change the veneer of your reality. Go within. You work on you. Your reality will shift because of the work that you do on you. All right. I love y'all. I adore you. I ain't got to know you to say I love you. And it's people that I don't fuck with no more. And they like, how the hell she be telling people she love them on live? I say it because I mean it, you know. And if it's people that I'm not dealing with anymore, it's because I love me. But it doesn't mean that I don't love them. It's not personal. This is my spiritual journey. And I am here to allow my life to be inspiration for other people. So if you enjoyed this, make sure that you show up. Come to the new NAGA Saga. Just take a chance. Take a chance and see what happens. You know, because if you don't do something different, you're not going to be able to shift the algorithm of your life experience. Seeing the zeros and the ones is great in the matrix, but if you don't know what to do after that, you can't get to the next level. All right. Something to slide off to here. You welcome, Miss Michigan. I'm glad you had that breakthrough. You here all alone. It's the best place to be, baby girl. Get back to your makeup. That's right. Whatever's coming to you, you get back to that. You do that. Trust your intuition. Everything that you need is within you. And it's okay. It's okay to be depressed and sad and angry and all of that. Like, I have judgment for nothing, because it's all beneficial once you know how to work with it. So yeah, that's what we doing. But y'all see my scars and stuff. Like, you know, I don't be on here lying and stuff. Just, I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody. But I was so ashamed of these things. And now I'm so proud of these things, because it's proof that anything that comes up against me as the obstacle, it's not going to stop me from doing nothing. Because I am that I am. And you are that you are. You are enough just where you are right now. And if you never heard me say this before, when I say this, I mean this, and it activates your third eye. Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace, power, and love.